All right, we should be live very soon here. Just waiting for that audio to come in and we will go ahead and get started. Just to let you guys know what we're doing today. So we're going to actually be going into an awesome tutorial that I kind of created just over the last couple of days on my MacBook. I've been messing a lot with dynamic paint, fluid simulations, aerodynamic simulations, things like that. And I thought it would be awesome to kind of cover that exact topic within dynamic paint. So this is actually a dynamic paint simulation that I created a custom shader for to make this right here. So now there's a lot of different ways that this works, but this is actually really fun and simple to create. And I wanted to run you guys through how to do that. So let's go ahead and hop right into a new Blender document and let's go ahead and do this. As you guys can see, I have kind of just this generic shape here just to kind of outline how this works. It works with any shape that you want, specifically ones that are kind of extruded on a long axis. So I'll show you guys how this works. Very first thing we're going to do is open up Blender. I'm going to go ahead and just add in a plane here. I think I'm going to scale the plane in edit mode. So I'll tab into edit mode, SY to scale. And all I'm going to do here is I'm probably just going to go ahead and subdivide this quite a few times. I'm actually going to undo this. I apologize. I'm going to subdivide this quite a few times. That should be fine. Something like that should work. And basically what we're going to do is we're actually going to... Actually, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm going to undo this because I did it incorrectly. We're going to go back to my original plan. We're actually going to scale this on the y-axis, SY. And then what I'll do is I'll create a bunch of loop cuts, Control R, and I'll just scroll until I have a bunch of loop cuts like this. Something like that should probably be okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite axis. That looks fine to me. Just so we kind of have this long subdivided plane. Apologies for that. So this is kind of what we're looking for right here. Next thing we need to do is go into our physics tab on the right. I'm going to add a dynamic paint canvas, okay? Click on add canvas. For our surface type, I'm going to choose waves. Now you've probably seen this before, right? You know where I'm going with this. Next, I need my brush. So in this specific case, just for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to choose a sphere for my brush. I'm going to go ahead and scale that down a little bit. Switch over to my random color so you guys can really see what's going on here. And then I'm going to enable a dynamic paint brush for my sphere. I'll click on add brush. And as you can see, when I press play, we have this awesome dynamic paint simulation, right? And that's just right off the bat. I'm going to cut our frame length down to 120. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale down my sphere quite a bit. I'm going to shade it smooth just so it looks a little nicer. I'm going to move my dynamic plane, my dynamic paint canvas, and I'm going to animate it across the sphere. All right, and this is going to make sense in a second. I'm going to go ahead and move it all the way on this side, so it's not even touching the sphere yet, okay? I'm going to press I on frame 1, right, to insert a keyframe. Go to frame 120. I'm going to move it all the way across, maybe to about here. Press I again. And let's go ahead and play this back and see what this looks like. So now we get something that looks kind of like this, right? We're going to need a lot more subdivisions. So I'm going to go ahead, tab into edit mode, press A to select everything, right click, subdivide again 2 more times. I know this looks like a lot in terms of the mesh, but this is what we need to accomplish this. I'm also going to give this a super quick save, and I'll save it as simulation 1-1. Just something simple. Now when we play this back, right, we get something that looks like this. You can see we have a lot more detail retained in our dynamic paint simulation. And this is exactly what we want. Right? Remember, the more subdivisions that you have, the more detail that you're going to be able to retain. So right here, we start to have something that looks a little bit more detailed. There's a lot more going on, right? It doesn't really look quite right from this angle, but what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom shader similar to what I had before. So I'm actually just going to go back into my other document that I have from before, and I'm going to break down this shader. You'll notice in our document that our shader looks kind of like this. So I'm going to go ahead and play this back. Now this is using cycles. You can kind of see in the beginning here, right, we get this really interesting kind of color ramping effect because we are using a color ramp. So let's go ahead, switch over to our shader tab, and I want to outline for you exactly how this works because it is so simple. All you have to do is literally these 5 nodes, and that's it, okay? So I'm literally going to copy all of these nodes, or I'll just copy this plane over. Okay, copy, and I'll go back into my other simulation. I'll press save. I'll just go ahead and paste that in, click on my smaller plane, and I will change the material. Let's go into our rendered view and see if this is working. And it is. So now this is where we kind of need to customize everything. The very first thing I'm going to do is bump up my world color. I'm just going to make it kind of white. And I'm also going to shade smooth my plane here, which doesn't want to work. There we go. Now you can kind of already see we're sort of getting this effect already, but now we need to go into our shading tab and we actually need to customize this shader because right now it doesn't look the way that I want it to look. Now, in order to really get the proper effect for this, we're going to want to have an overhead camera. So I'm just going to quickly set that up. I'll go to Add. I'll go into Camera, and then I'll just bring my camera up like this. Press N to pop out this tab here, and I'll just zero everything out. I'll snap to my camera, and I'll just rotate it on the Z axis. Bring it up a little bit. Cool. Now we can really get a sense of what this is going to look like. Now all we have to do is play with our scale and our rotation. Now scale usually does the trick here, but if you can't get that to work, you're going to have to work with your color ramp a little bit, okay? Another thing you're going to want to do is probably scale everything up just a little bit because I think I did that in my last tutorial and we were able to get a really good looking simulation. Now this is not a regular CFD simulation. It's not correct, right? It's not actually physically simulating air, but we can fake it by using this color ramp technique. And this is where like the full customization comes in. One of the things to consider is see how we have this red on the bottom here. You may need to flip around some of your colors. You can see as I move this red up, right, we begin to get this kind of red that's coming in here. I actually want this whole thing to be flipped. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my color ramp, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and start pulling these colors back until I get the desired result. This is starting to look good. And we may want even something completely opposite. Let me just double check. Okay, we may have to mess with our scale just a little bit. You can see as I mess with the scale, we can kind of bring these colors in like so. And then we need to really adjust this to make it work for our simulation. The higher spots, we want those to be yellow, okay, and orange and red. The reason we want them to be red is because that is where those interferences are coming from, right? I had it pretty perfect in the last one, so this is kind of a baseline example, but you guys can see how now that we have our different heights for everything, we can really get a pretty solid understanding of where these different marks are. I'm going to actually get rid of this, and this. There we go. I'm going to get rid of my other markers so I can show you guys how this works. Good. Okay, so let's just make this one red for this example. So red is going to be where you get those like high turbulence areas, right? So where the most resistance is. And then what we can do is we can now adjust our settings on our dynamic paint to actually get something that looks, well, aerodynamic. So I'm going to go ahead into my settings here and I'm going to copy the exact settings that I had on my other one. So let's go back to our original one. Now again, I got the color ramp pretty perfect on this one. It didn't seem to work as well in this tutorial, so I apologize for that. But you can kind of see here, the deeper that the simulation goes in terms of the depth of the dynamic paint, right? You can see how it's cutting through our dynamic paint here. We kind of have this red at the bottom, right? Where those high turbulence areas are. So where the air meets the front of this craft or whatever this is, you can see it's very dense, right? And we have those it kind of slows down, right? So we're kind of simulating that air in a way that makes sense. Can you turn on the statistics? I'm curious how many faces you have at the moment. Yes, I will do that in just a moment. Again, when I play this back, you can kind of see we can get more or less detail depending on the actual settings we use over here. So one of the things I wanted to point out was smoothness. But I want to go ahead and actually just screenshot this real quick. I don't normally do this on live stream, but it'll just be easier for me so I can copy all these settings. I'm just going to hold on to this screenshot, okay, put Blender on the left, open up my other document here, and I want to make sure I punch in the exact same numbers that I have. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. What are we working with here? Okay, so, and I'm going to explain each one because I know you guys really care about this stuff. Okay, frame start and end, that's literally when does the simulation start and end. I'll just keep mine to 120 because eventually we will bake this as we add more subdivisions. Waves, that's exactly what we want. Open borders means that when the wave hits, it won't hit the wall. So the edge of the plane will act as a wall right now. If I enable this setting, the edges won't really be there, right? The waves will kind of just dissipate as if they go off into space, which is what we want because we want this to be like it's in air, right? So it'll act a little bit better in that manner. Timescale, this is kind of a really important one. I'm actually going to set that really low because I want to see kind of the difference. So I'm going to just continue to play this back as we have it. Take a look at what we have right now, okay? Kind of There we go. Make sure you guys can see this okay. So right now our timescale is what is it, 0.05, and you can see how that drastically affects the way that our color ramp looks, okay? Now these colors aren't correct, but if you go ahead and jump this up to a timescale of 0.5, now look at how we get a completely different effect, right? So this is really fun to play with, and this is how I was able to get the really good effect that we had on the earlier video. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep this to maybe 0.25. And then for our speed, which is basically the speed that everything happens, I'm gonna set that to 4 and see how that looks. I don't love it. And one of the reasons I don't like it is because we're not getting that red right in front of the sphere. So I'm gonna knock this down to 2. That's a little bit better. And then I'm gonna push this back up to 0.5. 0.05, let's try that. That's a little bit better. See how now we have the red a little bit beyond the sphere as well? That kind of shows that the air is kind of stopping in front of this object. It has to move around our object, okay? Where else we got here? Okay, so dampening, I'm gonna put that at 0. We don't want any of the waves to dampen, right? We want them to kind of flow outwards. So already we're starting to get a better result. Spring, don't want that either. You can kind of see the difference here, right? It's a little more shaky, but it's a little bit more realistic as well. And then smoothness, this is how much we're gonna smooth out the waves after they occur. Right now we're at 1. If I set it to 2, go ahead and look at the difference, right? It's much smoother, almost too smooth. But if we set this too low, for example, 0.25, now it's very shaky. Now, if this is the effect and the result that you're looking for, by all means do that. But I can tell you right now, I'm not happy with that. So I'll probably set it back to like 1.5. And then what I'll do is I'll mess with the time scale as well. The speed right now is 2. This is 4. Again, our color ramp isn't exactly where I want it. I would really like to see that dark blue. There we go. There's kind of that dark blue. And now you can see, right, as I zoom in here, take a look at this. Let me hide this window. Look at the area around our sphere. Notice how it's a lot darker. Those are the highest, friction points around our sphere. So you're probably wondering, does this work with other objects? It does. Let me go ahead and enable my statistics for... Who asked for that? Vicky. I'm sorry, Vicky. Let me go ahead and enable my statistics if I can remember where they are. I want to say they're in here somewhere. Yep, there it is. Statistics. Okay, we have, I know you currently can't see this. What do we have? Vertices, 45,000. Edges, 90,000. Faces, we have, make sure you guys can read that. There's all the data right there. Faces, 45,000. Triangles, 90,000. Now let's go ahead back to our layout. All right, let's go to rendered view. All right, now you can adjust the color ramp later. Right now, mine wasn't perfect, and I think that was because I didn't have my settings enabled. It looks a lot better right now. Now let's go ahead and try some different objects. Now I'm just gonna move this out of the way, and you'll notice when I press play, nothing happens. Let's go ahead and try something a little more complex like Suzanne. Okay, let's scale her down. Let's go into our solid view just real quick. And I will just add in a dynamic paint brush. I'll click on add brush. I usually keep all these settings the same. The only real important one is the factor under the waves, which is how much this is affecting our dynamic paint simulation. And you can see right now, as I play it back, this is kind of what we're getting here. So let's just go ahead and see what that looks like. Now, what's really cool about dynamic paint is, you get this effect right away. You can actually rotate your object while it's being affected. So if we wanted to get a side profile of how Suzanne is aerodynamically, even though this is not a real aerodynamic simulation, we can kind of get it, right? This is kind of what it might look like. And I've been trying to find a way to do this for a really long time. And I've seen some geometry node setups. I've seen some expensive things you can buy like plugins and add-ons, but I just wanted to create a simple way to do this. And I couldn't think of a better way than dynamic paint. I thought this just looked really good. So now one of the things I want to do, because I don't feel like I did this justice, is I do want to go ahead and hop back over to our shading tab. And I want to make sure that we can actually get this to look the way that we want it. So honestly, the best way to do this, guys, just have it play on repeat. This is what I do. I have a pretty good computer, so I can have this just constantly playing. And I can adjust my color ramps. I want to go ahead and I want to adjust this to the point where I'm really, really happy with the coloration we're getting here. And actually I love messing just with this. I'm actually going to undo what I did. I think this actually looks not terrible. The reason that it doesn't look exactly the same as the previous example is most likely because of this scaling here, right? This scaling factor. There we go. That looks a little bit better. You can see how now when I adjust the X scale, and you guys are going to want to copy these coordinates exactly, the rotation and the scaling, or I'm sorry, just the rotation to make sure everything looks proper. The rotation itself is allowing us to get that kind of height map effect, right? So you can see right now, this doesn't look bad, right? But now we might want to go ahead and add in another color here, right? You can kind of see where that color plays in. What's going on here? There we go. Oh, you know what? Another thing we need to do is linear, I believe. There we go. You can kind of see how these colors play into our effect. Someone said, oh, that's not bad, actually. And then we have a comment. Is this the only way to get depth, or is it just to duplicate a ton of planes with the same modifier? So, Felix, this is a great question. I love this question. You know why? I tried this. And you know what? I didn't try the transparency. That's a great idea. But I did think, what if we stack these, right? What if we take this, we stack it, and then we can get sort of a 3D effect? Let's try it out. Worst thing we can do is try, right? And if it doesn't work, that's totally okay. But what's really cool about this that I love is now we have this dynamic paint thing, right? And we can do whatever we want with it, right? From the side, you know it's dynamic paint, right? You can see that it's dynamic paint. Like if I hit it from this angle right here, you can kind of see that we have these waves, like this three-dimensional aspect to it. But from the top-down view, you can't tell that at all, right? And this just looks so cool. And if we want to, we go ahead and swap this out, bring our sphere back in. And I actually just love, I actually think this is just super satisfying. Look what happens when you just move the sphere, right, as we are moving across this plane. I just thought this was so cool. Now, if you wanted this to go on forever, you could create sort of an infinite plane with a driver, right, that's just constantly revolving. I thought about maybe using a cylinder and just revolving it around constantly. You'd basically have a forever dynamic paint simulation. But again, you're going to run out of frames eventually, right? So this is a very cool way to do this. Let's try a couple more shapes, and then we can get into that transparency idea, okay? Let's go into layout. I'm going to actually duplicate this. I'm going to take this sphere, and I just want to show you in real time. This is really fun. I can just crunch this on the x-axis, and look at that. Now we have this bullet with this super aerodynamic flow, right? But then, oh no, we rotate it, right? And now we have this really like rigid wall that you can really see how the flow is affected. And it's not affected in a way that I think looks good. Again, a lot of the settings within your wave system for dynamic paint is ultimately going to affect the way that it looks. Right now, the time scale and the speed are the most important ones, I would have to say. For example, if I bump the time scale back up to 1, it doesn't really look like anything we would want to look at, right? Now, if this is what you're going for, by all means, do it. Even 0.5 might work. See how 0.5 still isn't quite there? We'll go back. Let's go to 0.2. Even this is not quite it. And I found that when I messed with the time scale, that is when I got the best result. Let's try something really small like 0.01 before we had 0.05. So this is 0.01. Just try something here. You can see how different it really is. This actually isn't terrible. Let's try Suzanne with 0.01, see how that looks. So yeah, so I don't love this, right? I kind of liked what we had before. Now, see how jagged it is down here? One of the reasons for that is the smoothness. At one point, I had the smoothness at 4. You can see that when we increase it to 4, notice the difference here, right? We're still getting those stuttering effects, but I think it looks a little bit better. And again, we'll jump our time scale back up to 0.05, and now you get something much smoother. I haven't tried this, but let's just bump up the smoothness to 10. Again, this is a smoothness of 10, right? Pretty interesting. I kind of liked what we had before. I'm going to go back to a smoothness of like 2 and time scale of maybe 0.03. I think that looks pretty good. You can try to set the color ramp to HSL and play with it. It keeps the saturation frame same, so you don't need to add as much colors. Oh, that's a good idea, Mohammed. Suppose I don't have processing power for the usual simulation methods. Could I use this method and trust the results, or is this more like an artist acceptable result? That's a good question. I guess what you're wondering is, can you trust the results in terms of accuracy? No, absolutely not. In terms of physics, this is by no means an accurate physics simulation. This is not real CFL, which I'm pretty sure stands for computational fluid dynamics, or sorry, computational fluid something. Either way, that type of simulation is not what this is, and I will definitely not vouch that this is going to be accurate, right? Like Boeing is not going to use this for their next plane, okay? Hopefully they don't, because I've heard nothing but bad things about them lately. But regardless, yeah, this wouldn't be something that you would probably want to use for an aerodynamic simulation. But if you just want to fake it just for like a product commercial or something cool that you're working on, I would say by all means go for it. Another thing I wanted to point out is everything's quite fuzzy right now, and if I tab into edit mode, it is quite subdivided. I'm going to subdivide it one time further just to show you what's possible. And my computer may or may not hate me after this. Let's go ahead and just give this a quick save just in case Blender wants to crash. So this is with it subdivided one more time. Let's go ahead and just see the kind of result we can get here. Oh, and you know what? I will go ahead and lower this value. There we go. So you can really see outside of the frame of the camera. That is cool. That is really cool. I really love that. And I don't even really love this color scheme, but I do love like basically the more subdivisions you have, the more accurate or the more detailed you're going to get, okay? I've been trying to make a decent ship wake, but the liquid simulations are just too heavy. Yeah, unfortunately, do you reckon this method to handle something similar? I do. Actually, we're going to be making a video soon. I'm working with CG Cookie on this. I'll be making a video very soon about dynamic paint and how you can do things like this with it. However, yes, unfortunately, dynamic paint can be a little bit taxing on the computer. That is very true, especially when you have a lot more subdivisions. One workaround to this, however, is what you can do is you can have less subdivisions on your plane and then add the subdivision modifier after to smooth everything out. But you don't get the accurate simulation. You get sort of a faked accuracy, if that makes sense. It's very similar to fluid physics, right? When you create your fluid physics, it may look a little bit chunky, and then you add that subdiv, which smooths everything out, but it doesn't actually increase the resolution of the actual simulation. When I subdivide this plane, it's kind of like we're increasing the resolution of our simulation here, right? Here's another thing to play around with, and I'll do this right now. I'm gonna duplicate this sphere and put it behind the other sphere, as I want to show you kind of how this reacts with multiple objects, right? You can kind of see how they sort of interact with each other a little bit. One of the things to think about, though, is when you have multiple objects, you want to make sure they're really cutting through your plane well. You can see right now, this second sphere, where you can't really see it as much, it isn't really cutting through the plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move everything out. I'm going to go back to my camera view. I'm going to add in a cube, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it very tall, like this, so that no matter what, it should always be affecting our dynamic paint canvas. So let's go ahead and add a dynamic paint brush and click on Add Brush. I'm just going to go ahead and play this back, make sure everything's working. It is. I'm going to scale it on the Y a lot. I'm going to rotate it on the Z. Just want to see and make sure we're getting something here. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate it because I want to make sure this is working correctly. Yes. Okay, now take a look. Snap to my camera. Oops, there we go. Yeah, you can kind of see how one a little bit affects the other. What I would really like to see, and I kind of want to experiment with this more, is how can I make, see this point right here in the middle, there should be a buildup of turbulence or like some kind of buildup of air, right? Like almost like, it should almost be like this, like curved, right? That's one thing that dynamic paint doesn't necessarily do unless you have the right settings, and I haven't found those settings yet, but the more that you play around with this, the better result you're gonna get typically. Okay, there we go. Also, usually the more that you scale up an object, the better you're going to get an idea of like how that profile affects the simulation as well. If you want physically accurate sims, you're better off using something like what does it say? Sim Scale, which is a free tier. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely be something I'll have to check out at some point. So guys, I have been, so I'm back in school now. I'm a teacher full-time. So it's been pretty busy. I haven't been able to do as many of these tutorials or live streams, but I'm going to try to make sure I find time for these. So hopefully you guys are still enjoying them. So yeah, let's go ahead and try this multi-layered effect because this could be really cool. Very first thing I'm going to do is just make sure we have a transparency with this. So I'm going to go to my shader editor. I'm going to add in a mix shader. Okay, I'm just going to mix this with a glass, or no, how about transparent BSDF. I'll just pop that in like that. Now, what I'm going to try to do is make sure that I think there's a way to make an alpha color, isn't there? Yeah, hold on, alpha. Oh, hold on, let me try something real quick. Because I think on a color ramp, can't you make it be an alpha color on one side? I'm pretty sure you can. Doesn't look like it wants to work though. A stacked look would be really cool if we could pull this off though. Let me try this first. We will come back to how we're going to accomplish that, but let's just try this. Just a mix between a transparent shader, okay, and a, I guess, non-transparent BSDF. I am going to go to layout, and Blender might get really mad at me here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unsubdivide this whole thing. So let's go ahead, edge, unsubdivide, and then I'm gonna unsubdivide it one more time. I'm sorry guys, I don't want Blender to crash on me. Let's just go ahead and see what it looks like right now. We're still getting a simulation that we want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to frame 0. I am going to have to duplicate this and then delete the keyframes. Hold on. Okay, and then I'll just bring this up like that, and I will insert a keyframe here. And I'll just drag it along the Y. I'll try to get it around the same spot, but it's not going to be perfect. Now, if we play this back, we have 2 dynamic paint planes that are running along our object. Let's see what that looks like. I can't really tell if it's better or worse or what. It looks kind of weird. I don't love it, but I will say that there's something there, and I've thought about this idea even before you commented. I was thinking, you know what? If we stack these, we might be able to work with this. This looks really cool. I do like the stacked look. It is kind of cool because if you look right here, we have this area right here. So this is I don't know which one's our top plane. Okay, so this is our top plane here. And you can see that it's completely different than the bottom, which is what you want because you want to have this multi-stacked appearance. And I almost wonder if we had just taken this one, added an array. Okay, generate array. We'll just do a constant offset on the z-axis of 1, or maybe less. And let's just make sure this is good. So I'm going to also turn on cavity. Why does this look so bad? All right, let's just pretend that looks right. Okay, we'll just go ahead and increase this a couple times. We'll put it before dynamic paint, and maybe Blender will crash, maybe it won't. Oh my goodness. Are they all different? Yes, they are. They all are slightly different. Let's just see what it looks like. Ooh, this is interesting. All right, now let's adjust that transparency value in the shader editor, and let's see what we get. Try it with the simple object. Maybe it looks better. That is also very true. See, like, I really like this kind of look here. I do wonder, what is my light path situation here? No, okay. There could be something about this, though. I do think. All right, yeah, we'll try a simpler object. That's fine. That looks interesting. I do think there's something here, but I just don't know what it is yet. But I like it. Probably needs more transparency in the colors. Yeah. You know what? Let's try this. This is gonna be a little outlandish, but let's try this. Let's try just a glass BSDF with the same deal. And then let's make it 1.1 for the IOR. Maybe like a higher roughness, maybe 1.01. Or do we just make this whole thing transparent? What's the other one? Translucent? Yeah, I don't really know the difference between those two. This is interesting. This is not looking great. Are we getting overlapping here? Hold on, let me take a look. My alpha color needs to be like that. Yeah, this doesn't look fantastic, but like right here, I find this very interesting. Like the way we have this kind of banding effect. Why does that look so bad? It is cool. There's something there. I don't love it, but there is definitely something there. Probably a good time to change the colors as well. A plane close to the top should be bending upwards, maybe. Right, so, and that's the other thing I wanted to talk about with dynamic paint, because I've kind of messed around with this concept before, and you would think, right, towards the top, you would get that effect. Let me switch my colors back. So you would get that effect, right? But check this out. If I go into solid view, and I bump up my count, right, so that this one is kind of up here, we actually don't get that. For some reason, we still get this inward bowing look. Like, let me show you. Right here, see that? Oh, look at this side view. Hold on, let's go back the other way. That's interesting. Get out of here, Suzanne. See, that's kind of interesting right there. Now, I've also messed around with some other concepts that looked really good, so I do want to go over those, but let's go over one last example, which is going to be my original file. Thanks to Kenny for streaming after a full day of teaching in person. Exploring and iterating live. Yes, I love it. That's what we do. That's what happens when you really love teaching. Again, this is the original example, the OG. Hold on. Now, I did originally do this in Eevee because it rendered very quickly. And it looks really good, and I love testing out these different objects. I actually have an array of objects that I was testing, and there's an empty that controls them. I love looking at this part down here, right, where this kind of like wake comes from, because after all, it is a fluid simulation. Well, a quote-unquote fluid simulation, but I still think it looks so cool. Is that a normal sphere, by the way, or is it a quad patch sphere? I think it was a normal sphere, yeah. What do I teach in school? Mohammed, that's a great question. I teach business and technology at the middle school level. So I teach kids about resumes, cover letters, entrepreneurship, Blender, of course. And I also teach them about just technology in general, like how to use Google Drive, all the Google applications, graphic design, Photoshop, pretty much anything on the computer. Right now, I'm teaching my 6th graders about digital citizenship and how to be safe online and not get hacked. So pretty fun stuff. But yeah, I do love this type of simulation here. And it's really interesting because you can really see like how this is being affected here. This is really, I find this like this part in here really interesting. You can really see the individual kind of faces of the simulation right here, right? Like if you zoom in, you kind of look around here. I find this stuff really super interesting. But imagine what you could do if we could kind of pull this off with a more three-dimensional effect. I mean, a lot of people want to do these kind of wind tunnel effects, and I want to show you guys something because I was working on this recently, and we'll just explore it live together if you guys are okay with that. Let me just go ahead and delete everything in a new scene here. I'm just going to add a sphere. It's just the simplest shape I can think of where something should go around the sphere and back down the other side. And I wanted to show you guys this example. I'm going to add a plane. Okay, I have a plane and a sphere. And I will take my plane and I will tab into edit mode, SY, kind of scale it down a little bit, make it really thin. And then I'll just give it a bunch of loop cuts, Control R. I'll just scroll out until I have like a ton of loop cuts here. That should be fine. They don't really need to be perfect, right? This does not need to be perfect at all. But check this out. I'll add a dynamic paint to this. I'll add a canvas. I'll add a type displace, right? I'm gonna bring this down. I'm now going to add a dynamic paint to my sphere, type brush, click add brush, okay? Now look at this. This is where I find this stuff really interesting. Take a look at what happens when I move this along the sphere. And now take a look at what happens if I increase the displacement factor, right? We almost have this effect where this streamline, right, this thing that was straight, is now going down and around our object. And what I find interesting about this is if we move this, right, and animate it, we kind of have this effect here, right, where this thing wraps around. And I was playing with this idea last night, and it did seem promising, right? It's not a foolproof method, but let's try it with something else, because the more objects we try it with, the closer we get to kind of an accurate simulation here. So let's go ahead and add our dynamic paint brush to our monkey. But yeah, look at this. So what I love about this is look at how you can kind of tell. I'll highlight this. You can kind of see how our plane wraps around our monkey. And I really think there's something here. So try to make 2 planes, one of them with flip normals to make the dynamic paint affected upwards. It will probably make a cool 3D effect. Mohammed, that's a great idea. We can definitely come back to that towards the end. I think we have, what is it? 10? We have 25 minutes left, so we're chilling right now. So yeah, but anyway, if you take, you can do the opposite. You can move this too. But I love the way this kind of works. Hold on. This is cool. And you can also set a dissolve value, right? So if I press play and I move this, where's our dissolve value? Let's do 100 for our dissolve value. I'm going to do 100 for my end frame. It's not working right now. Hold on. Max displacement. Let me just make sure I have everything set up properly here. Force, no, I think obstacle depth only. Yeah, okay. That's so weird. It should be working. Oh, there it is. Okay, so sorry about that. I kind of forgot how I was going to do this. So when you see how when I move the monkey, it kind of displaces the back of this right here. That, to me, has a lot of potential, right? So then you create a multitude of these lines, right? And you have your monkey. And what you can do is we can create another monkey, like a fake surface monkey that's hidden but parented to this monkey, and then we get this outline that really works well, right? And then of course we can take this and we can add a solidify modifier to this. I don't know if this is going to work or not. It is. Okay. So look, see how we kind of have this effect here? This is kind of what I was looking for, right? Something like this, where we kind of get this wraparound effect. And it's really easy to see here. I just think this is kind of exactly what I was looking for. Do you guys notice kind of like how this is working? So we have a line. What I wanted was a line that wraps around something that's simple, right? I don't want you guys to have to do all this geometry node setup. I want you to be able to do this very simply. And I want it to be able to be done for like a complete beginner. Because like right now, we really didn't go through a lot of steps. I'd be curious to see what this looks like here. Look at that. Look at that. Now, how do we make this smoother? Let's figure it out together. Right now, you can see, notice how we're still interacting with the plane. Like, I don't want this to exactly touch the plane. I want it to be like one of those Formula One, race cars that's sitting in a wind tunnel and the smoke is coming at the race car. That's kind of like the effect that I'm going for here. And you can see how we're starting to build this together. And I do think this could be really cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back to frame 1. I'm actually going to duplicate Suzanne, okay? Instead of scaling Suzanne up, I'm going to add, actually, yeah, you know what? I'll just scale it up for simplicity purposes. All right, now we have a scaled up Suzanne, right? Okay. No, I take it back. I take it back. I want to do a solidify before the dynamic paint. I want to increase the surface thickness. There we go. So look, what I'm going to do, because it's kind of just extruding along those normals a little bit, I'm going to make kind of like a fatter version of Suzanne. Sorry, Suzanne, if I hurt your feelings. I'm just going to apply this solidify modifier. And I just want to make sure this is working. It is not working. Why is it not working? Let me just go into X-ray mode. Oh, right, because there's an inner layer and an outer layer. So we need to get rid of that inner layer. There's that inner layer. Let's see if I can manage this, ladies and gentlemen. Am I inside? I think I am. Hold on. Did I select only the interface? Haha. No, I did not. That's the other Suzanne. Okay, I take it back. We're going to do this slightly differently. Sorry if I'm missing comments. Sorry, didn't realize you already said that. Never mind, I actually already typed that. Okay, so we're going to do a very similar thing, but for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to use the sphere because it's going to be easier for me to do this. I'm going to move it over like this, duplicate it, and then with our duplicate, we're going to scale this up, okay? Go to X-ray mode and parent it to the smaller smaller sphere. Now for the smaller sphere, I'm just going to get rid of the dynamic paint thing on there. We don't need that. However, when we move the smaller sphere, notice now how we have sort of more of like an outline, right? Because it's actually the bigger sphere that we're messing with here. So I'm going to even scale this up just a little bit more. Actually, I forgot. I have to hide this sphere, and this is the one we're going to use. Look at that. Now, what we have is we have kind of what I was looking for this whole time. And then all we have to do is adjust the displacement factor, or the max displacement of our canvas. And let's see if this works. Boom. Okay. So this is exactly what I was looking to do. And I'm very happy we got this far, because this is the start of like a faked simulation, right? So now what I want to do is let's experiment a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and take my plane. I'm going to duplicate it upwards like this. And I'm just going to press Shift R to repeat that, because I just want to see kind of like what this is going to look like. Interesting. Not exactly what I was going for, but it's definitely a good start. Let me try something. Let's rotate these like this. I just want to see what this is going to look like this way. All right, same deal. Okay. That's kind of cool, though. Whoa. I do think they need to be subdivided just a little bit. Let's delete these ones. Let's take this one, subdivide, and we're going to Shift DX. Okay. And we're going to move it and see how that looks. Oh, that is awesome. This is definitely a good start. And don't worry, guys, I'm not ignoring your comments. I'm just experimenting here, trying to figure out what this could look like. I put the idea in better words, or you did? This is cool. This is really cool. And I also realized we really don't need the solidify modifier, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to copy modifiers. There we go. So now we just have something that looks like this. Because I really don't want that right now. I just want to see what this looks like. This is so cool. Strings underwater looks like that. So cool. And how can we get it to be even more fluid? See, like this, so just so you guys know, like what's happening in real time right now is usually what I do when I try to come up with these like new ideas for tutorials and stuff like that. It's just me experimenting with stuff that everyone knows about, but just like in a slightly different way. Especially because I just can't get this idea out of my head of making this like Formula One simulation. There has to be a way to do it with dynamic paint that's easier than what we've normally done, right? Also, I will try your idea, Mohammed. I'll just take this plane right here. What did you say? Literally flip normals. What is it? Mesh. Where is it? Normals, flip. Okay, so I flipped the normals on this bottom one. Mohammed, you're a genius. Sorry I didn't try it earlier, but this is really cool. Okay, so we got the flip normals. So now let me go ahead and delete a couple of these. Mohammed, I am so sorry I didn't try that earlier. That was a fantastic idea. Just duplicate. Whoa. Mohammed is a genius. Ho-ho. All right, Mohammed, you get the Genius Award for the day because that was really cool. And this looks awesome. Let me turn on the cavity so we can see this. It's really hard to see. It's like really hard to see everything right now. Mohammed, that was such a cool idea. That was Mohammed, right? Didn't he say that? Yeah. Why are you subdividing instead of adding a subdiv modifier? So that's actually a really good question. A couple of things. One, you could add the subdiv modifier and you could put it before the dynamic paint. But if you do that, you might want to apply it, right? Because it might not be treated the same way as if it were like one whole object. So when I do that in edit mode, then the dynamic paint is going to look at that and say, okay, you have a little bit more detail here. Let me make sure I account for that. Whereas if you use the modifier after the dynamic paint, you're not actually getting that detail. You're adding smoothness, if that makes sense. I hope I've explained that properly. Basically, whatever you have in edit mode is probably going to be your best bet for like what you get with this. This might be cool. Let me try to add, I just want to see, I want to add the solidify just a little bit. Let's copy those modifiers. I want to go to my side view here, and I just want to see what this looks like. This is like exactly what this is like almost exactly what I was looking for. The only part I don't like, and I think I know how to solve this. Do you guys see where like these collide here? I think I know how to solve this. If we just click on this top one and we set the offset to, or sorry, not the offset. We set the dynamic paint displacement factor just a little bit higher. And then we maybe set this one slightly lower. Yep, that worked. So then look, we'll just lower this one until it's a little bit more separated. We'll just take each individual layer. Maybe this one will be a little bit higher, and this one will be higher. All right, let's just go ahead and see what this looks like now. That's a little bit better. Now it's a little bit more like spaced out. I mean, that's kind of like I don't really like that solution though, because it doesn't work for everything. I'm really particular about how these things are built because I want them to be like so perfect. How cool is this though? Anybody else like, wow, this is cool. I'm loving this. Whoa. I mean, this looks kind of like an aerodynamic simulation, right? Should we try another object? I think we have to try another object. Yo, this fly better get out of here. All right. You guys ever just have a fly and you're like, why? Like, can this thing just not right now? All right, let's add in Suzanne. Suzanne, it's your time to shine. And we will add a brush. Scale it down a little bit. Wait, is there something I didn't do? Oh yeah, I have to make another Suzanne. I mean, it is working, which is great. But let me see something. Let's rotate Suzanne like this. Does work, but we need the bigger Suzanne, if that makes sense. So let me go back, Shift D, scale it up a little bit. Go to our baby Suzanne. No, big Suzanne gets parented to baby Suzanne. And yes, no, I did that incorrectly. Darn it. It's baby. Yeah, okay. So now where's baby Suzanne? Good. Okay, so we can hide this Suzanne. We can get rid of the brush on the other Suzanne. And did it work? I think it worked. This one's a little different. I think it's because, yeah, it's because we're like in the middle of these planes. So I'm actually going to take these planes, scale them down on the Z-axis a little bit, and I think we'll get a better result now. Yeah, it's a little bit better. He said, I like that even more. When we get to see the sides of the planes, where we get to see the sides of the planes. Yeah, this is, so, okay. Okay, guys, we might have something here because I know this sounds crazy, but like I've been waiting to like try to figure this out for a really long time, and I'm glad I finally got to explore this a little bit more tonight because you know the simulations I'm talking about, right? And I want to pull this up because I just want to make sure everybody understands. So this is the Formula One wind tunnel. Yeah, this exact thing right here. Like this, I don't even like that example. I've seen better examples. It is funny because like all the examples you see online, right? Like this kind of stuff, like most of them are computer generated. I don't know if I've ever seen one that's like real. This. Okay, so that's not even a great example. All right, this is a better example. So this type of image here, or like this type of effect, is kind of like what we're going for. And I think we're kind of getting there. Like, I really do. Because the idea is that you're seeing kind of like the outline of the object. See how many subdivisions we have here. Is there a lot? See, like, yeah, like let's go ahead and see, like this could be even smoother. And the only reason we're getting these jagged edges here is because there's a loop cut in the middle. So if I take this, right, this one, and I delete this loop cut, dissolve edges, right? We shouldn't get that. Why are we still getting that? All right, we shouldn't, but I guess we still are. Maybe it's the solidify. All right, either way, this is really cool. Let's go to our side view here. Let's go to our top-down view, my fault. I love this. Smooth modifier would work so well. All right, let's try it. Let's try the smooth modifier. I don't use the smooth. I've used the smooth modifier for like fluid sims, but not as much for this. Where is it? Deform, smooth, and then, ooh! Oh, man. Now let's see. I just want to see how this affects performance here. Hold on, let me get the right factor here. Okay, wait. X, Y. Do we need it maybe only on the Z? Wow. Who said that? Mohammed. Mohammed, you should be teaching this, dude. All right, Mohammed, let's see how this reacts now. Oh my goodness, buttery smooth. Okay, now the big Suzanne. Where's the big Suzanne? Because I want the big Suzanne to be a little bit bigger. So that when we move, yep, that's a little bit better. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add these modifiers to everything else. Dude, Mohammed, you're getting royalties. This is amazing, dude. The only different, and I'm sorry guys, I clapped right in the microphone. My fault. That's definitely a big no-no. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Here, hold on. Oh my God, Mohammed. Mohammed. Oh my goodness, Mohammed, this looks great. This looks great, dude. Very good suggestion. I would have never added the smooth modifier. Honest to God, I would have never done it. This looks great. Look at that. Look at that. We can get an effect that. So now here's where I would go from here. Right now we have this really cool effect. We can refine it a little bit further. Now I'm thinking, okay, do you add a volumetric shader to the lines, right? And we have the solidify modifier, so we can adjust the thickness of these lines. That's why I like. So I think someone earlier asked me this. Why are we using modifiers? Honest to God, the reason why is this exact reason. Because now, right? Oh, now we can customize this. This looks so good. See, this is the kind of stuff that will get me to be on Blender all night. This is so cool. I love this stuff. I love this stuff. Dude, this is awesome. Mohammed, fantastic idea, my friend. Fantastic idea. All right, so let's try this. I would like to try this with something else now. Which one is the controller? Okay, so X. Okay, yeah. And then is this the small sphere or the big sphere? Yeah, okay, so this is a small sphere, so let's go ahead and bring this in. Oh my God, look at that. Whoa! Let's get a better angle on this. That is so... Is there a limit to the speed? Not really. Mohammed, I want to send you $1 million. This is so cool. He said, I don't know what to say. Well, Mohammed, the ideas you're having is great. This is why I love live streaming, because like we can work on this stuff together. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is really cool. I don't think I've seen anything else like this. This is probably a potentially like possible in geometry nodes, right? In some capacity, maybe some simulation nodes. But right now, like as I see this, I mean, this is clearly like super effective. What I really like is that even when we look from this top-down view, it's really hard to see these. So I'm just gonna do this. No, I gotta. What is it that what's the solidity on these? Let me increase this solidified surface here a little bit, just a little bit, and let's copy this over. Okay, this is just so we can see from the top-down view. There we go. We can see a little bit better now. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm thinking like a lot about this now. So like, let's think about how easy this was to set up, right? We have a plane. We stretch it out in edit mode. We subdivide it, right? We give it a bunch of loop cuts. We give it a solidify modifier, a dynamic paint canvas, type displace, and then we add our brush, and now we have this amazing like thing that looks kind of like a simulation here. Now, I want to say this too. Notice that, okay, so look at the amount that it takes to dissolve, right? So like the time that it takes to dissolve. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Maybe like 3 seconds. So let's see how many frames that is, because I have it on here. It is 100 frames. So I was actually not far off. That's, what is it, 30 frames a second. So if we're running 30 frames a second, that's 90 frames. We're at 100 frames. So it takes about 100 frames for everything to snap back. Maybe you want it to be a little faster, right? So let's take a look at what that would look like. I actually like the way this already looks, but let's take a look if it was like 30 frames. So in a second, that's going to snap back, right? Oh, wait, I have to do that for each one. Oh, crap. Okay, so that's 30. Also, yes, I know, we could set up a driver to make this all work together. I know. We could, and then there's probably an easier way to do this, but I'm just going to manually type it in just for this, okay? Okay, guys. You know, I see this little slow check mark here. What does this do? It makes high values fade faster than low values. So like speed ramping? I don't know. I've done something similar in GeoNodes, and it gets really heavy with real simulations, and the speed of this is way better, good results, more directable. How fun. I could see it looking at a subtle wind turbulence force field as the sphere disrupts the lines. That would be cool too. So I haven't been able to get my force fields to disrupt the dynamic paint before, and I've tried this. Maybe you guys have better results than me. So look, this is faster, right? Snappier. Personally, I don't like it, right? I actually liked what we had before. Whoops. Let me try this again. So like this is still good, right? Now the question is, how the heck can we get this to work the opposite way, where we have this treadmill, right? This repeating, moving motion with our lines that are approaching our object. Because I actually really liked that. This right here could be a whole tutorial in itself. I mean, I am having a blast with this. This is really, really fun. Now, I do want to try a couple things though, because right now we have one sphere, right? What would happen if we had multiple objects? I don't know if have we tried that yet? If I scale this down, whoa, that looks so cool. That looks so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting all giddy because this looks so interesting. Why isn't it working? Oh, because this doesn't have dynamic paint. Duh. Sorry, guys. Freaking out. Okay, hold on. I just want to duplicate this. All right, now what I would like to see is if this works without the other big guys here. So I'm just talking to myself right now. I want to highlight both of these, and I want to see what it looks like here. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm trying to figure out. Here's what I'm curious about. What if we just move one? It almost reminds me of Metaballs, just a little bit, right? Because we have, like, as things get closer, right, things like snap or don't snap. There's probably, oh my god, there's so much you could do with this effect. And the crazy part is, I bet you if you showed this to somebody, they may not think that it's dynamic paint, but it is, right? I find this stuff really interesting. In the shader editor, you can use the object coordinates, separate X, Y, Z, and use the X coordinate to color the line based on its displacement. 3D vid, that's a great idea. Try getting a circle curve and flattening the top and then adding a curve modifier to all of them. Hopefully it will work. So the only thing though is that these are already meshes, so I can't apply. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I'm sorry. Yes, I can. I see what you're saying. Wrap the plane around itself into like a spherical shape. You know, it'd be really good, which I really hope Blender adds this in. The ability to make curves into physics objects. I know you can make them into physics objects like springs and rope, but it make them into a dynamic paint. Because if you could do that, oh my god. Oh, what just happened? Oh, our sphere is off here in La La Land. How cool is that when it snaps back? I'm sorry, that is so cool. Oh my God, this is so revolutionary for me. I mean, okay, I'm gonna say this. It might sound conceited. I really don't care, but I really think this could like change the game for like people who are trying to do stuff like this because um, it looks really good. Like it really does, and it's only dynamic paint and modifiers, and I'm running 25 frames a second, so this isn't really taxing on my computer at all. Imagine what you could do with this. If you really get the right minds behind something like this, you could do some crazy stuff with this. Just this alone is cool. Now imagine running this thing over and over again with the driver or just, like from one side to the other. And now you're actually simulating something that like kind of looks legit, right? I mean, how cool is this? Dear Kenny, are you writing me a letter? Is it possible to simulate aerodynamics of a rotated wheel and the vortex inside the wheel box of a car? Ooh, I'm not going to say no anymore because I just think there's so many things that are possible in Blender that I wouldn't put it past anybody to figure it out. Also, if we take a look at some YouTube videos online, I've seen a lot of this done. Like I've seen a lot of web-based HTML, CSS, JavaScript web apps that simulate physics and fluid dynamics. So it really wouldn't surprise me if someone did that in Python with Blender. It really would not surprise me at all. Now, how credible and reliable are these for like real infrastructure and things that we're going to build? I'm not sure. But in terms of making it look good, you could probably do that in Blender. Do I know how to do it right off the bat? Not really. But I'm just happy we made this. Could you have an invisible sphere that offsets in the direction of movement based on the speed of the main sphere? Felipe, that is a great idea in order to create the effect of a head of the object. So, Felipe, see now you're giving me all these ideas, which I love, but I'm already working on this idea. So hear me out. Here's what you could do, Felipe. This is what I'm imagining based on what you said, okay? Thank you for your comment. So you take and I'm going to go a little bit over the time limit here, CG Cookie, just a little bit to answer this question because I love this question. I've been messing with drivers a little bit too. I made an Etch-a-Sketch with drivers. And yes, what you could do is you could get the velocity vector of an object. I don't know exactly how. I know it's possible to do. And you could have a sphere increase or decrease in size, right, as the object is traveling, okay? And yes, you could theoretically have these invisible boundaries around your object, right, that are easily affecting the lines. Yes, that is 100% possible. I love that idea. All right, let's try one more thing. I just want to swap this object out with something else here. That's so cool. I want to try... I want to try something more complex. Maybe this. I'm just trying to see if this would even work. Let's scale it up so we have a little bit something to work with here. It does work, but notice again the boundary, like we'll need the additional invisible object. Now I would hope there would be a workaround for this because currently I don't like having to do that. And I also wanted to say this because this is where we get into the more complex objects. The gear, right, is not perfectly round. So now I'm wondering, does this need more subdivisions to properly navigate the path around our gear? Oh my god, I could drop everything I'm working on, like, and I have a lot going on as a teacher already, but I could literally drop everything I'm doing and I could work on this for the next 5 hours and I wouldn't even blink twice. Like this is the kind of project, and I don't know if you guys are like this. I'm like this. I could work on this for the next 5 hours and not touch a single ounce of water, food. I would literally like be on my deathbed until I get this to look the way I want to look. And it really is one of those projects. I just have never been this excited about a project because I've been trying to get this to work for so long. And of course I finally get it to work, which is great, but it's on the live stream. And I'm happy to share this moment with you guys because I feel like when you discover this type of thing in Blender, maybe this is just me, but like then you can't put it down, right? And that's the danger of Blender, right? Everyone's like, Blender's great, and it is great, but it could easily cause me a health problem if I continue, because then I'm just going to neglect food and water until I figure this awesome project out, right? So it is kind of comical in a way how addicting the program can be once you like discover a new feature, or you figure something out that you've been troubleshooting for a really long time. So I'm already like, my brain's moving. What I would like to do, and I'm gonna really test. Oh my god, I didn't save my project. Oh my god, I didn't save my project yet. Hold on, let me save my project. What should I call? What should we call this? How about this? I'm gonna call it like flow lines. I'll remember that, flow lines. All right, what I would like to do, and this is a quick challenge, and then I promise CG Cookie I'll be offline after this. I promise. Because we have a little agreement. I live stream an hour a week, but I'm gonna go a little bit over the time. And that, I promise, just a little bit over the time. We're only 5 minutes over, okay? I just want to quickly recreate this project from scratch, and I want to see if I can create it exactly the way we had it, okay? Let's see how fast we can do this. Now, speed is not always, what we want, but let's add a plane, okay? Pretty simple, right? Let's tab into edit mode, scale it down, scale it out on the X, like a lot, like this. Now, this time for loop cuts, I'm gonna add a loop cut. I'm gonna add so many loop cuts to this. I'm scrolling. Is there an easier way to add a bunch of loop cuts? Does anybody know? Is there an easier way to add loop cuts? Okay, this is how many we have, right? We have a lot. Now, I'm going to press A to select everything, S, Y to scale it in just a little bit. Okay, now we have our thing that's going to become dynamic paint. I'll add dynamic paint canvas. Permission granted. Let's go for the encore. Oh, Lord. All right, this is the last thing I'm going to do, I promise. Type is going to be displace. Displace factor, we'll mess with that in a bit. I'm going to add in my object, which is going to be a sphere. I'll just go ahead and scale that down. Add a dynamic paint brush. Click on add brush. And then let's just see if this is working. It is working. You can see our dynamic paint is doing this correctly. Okay, hold on. I'm going to scale this down quite a bit because I want, what I'm going for here is a very curved, yep, that's exactly what I'm going, very curved surface. Displacement factor, we're going to adjust that in a minute. I'm going to add in my deform smooth. And then what did I do last time? Like 10? Maybe I did 5 with a factor of what? Oh, let's do 8. Okay, that's fine. And then I'll go back to my displacement factor. I'll raise that up a little bit. And now what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this, okay? X-ray mode, scale it down. This is going to be our small sphere. We're just going to double check that everything looks good. And then we're going to parent our big sphere to our small sphere. Let me just label these so I know I'm parenting properly. And then I will give you guys this file when we're done with it, okay? I'm going to call this outer shell just because that just makes sense to me. All right, small sphere, big sphere. Let's hide the big sphere. Let's see how we're looking. Let's give our solidify modifier to our plane, okay? I think I got everything so far. I think we're good. Deform, or sorry, generate, where is it? Solidify. And we'll just give it a little bit of thickness here. That looks fine. Let's shade everything smooth, make it look nice. Let's save this. And we'll save it as flow lines demo. Okay, now I'm going to just see if everything's working. Click on my dynamic paint, and I'll just make sure that I have my dissolve feature on, and I'll do 100 frames for the dissolve. Now let's go ahead and press play, move this, we're good to go. So now we know how to set this up from scratch, right? We have everything we need. Now the only difference is wherever our lines start to go above the bottom half of our sphere, we're going to flip those normals. And flipping those normals, as Mohammed mentioned earlier, will allow us to get the curvature to go upwards rather than downwards, which was a genius thing, as well as the smooth modifier. So this is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to copy my curve, or sorry, my dynamic paint, Shift D, I'm going to press Z, and I'll give this 1, 2. I'm going to click on my bottom one right here, okay? I am going to go to, where is it? Displacement factor, raise it up just a little bit, I'll do the same for this one. And I'll do the same for the bottom one. And I'm just going out a couple of different times here, okay? And if you really want to, you can get this one even closer, like this, right? And it's totally up to you how you want to do this spacing. Let's go ahead, press play. Oops. There we go. And look at that. Those are your top and bottom lines there. You know what? I want to take these. I want to rotate them like this because I actually want this to be side by side. Okay, now I'm going to Shift D, duplicate all these, bring it over on the Y axis, and then we're going to go ahead, tab into edit mode. We're going to go to mesh, and I highlighted all of them before I tabbed into edit mode. We're going to go to, what is it, normals, and we're going to go to flip. Tab out of edit mode, and now they're on the other side, just like Mohammed had discussed. Now, we'll make our end frame 100 or so. Doesn't matter, whatever you guys prefer. And I will move this along. And there you go. I feel like we're missing something. What are we missing here? It doesn't look exactly the same as the other one. What am I missing? I do think this factor is way too high, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit. It will take a bit to process, but it'll be available on the channel. Yes. Yep, this will stay on the channel. Yep. We can add a displacement modifier instead of changing the offset so we don't have any overlapping. Yeah, I guess you could do that. You could totally do that. Hold on. Oops. What am I missing here? I feel like this looks slightly different. I'm trying to figure out why. Was it the timing? This one's 100. Ooh, that's another thing. We can adjust the timing of the inner and the outer bands so that they, the outer ones would they snap back quicker or slower? I'm thinking about what it would look like. I feel like my brain's on overdrive right now. Let me just try. This is the inner one. I want to try 10 because I just want to see what this is going to look like. No, I don't like that at all. Okay, we're gonna go back to 100. Honestly, I might even do 150 for all of these because 150 might give us a little more time, a little bit more of a natural movement here. And again, 150 is kind of like the rebound rate here. Yeah, slower. I agree. I agree. So that top, I've slowed the top part down. There's something I'm like not liking about this, and I can't figure out what it is. Oh, I know. Tab into edit mode. Okay, wait, I think RX90. Is that it? Oh! Oh! I got an idea. Wait, I totally got an idea just now. Mohammed said maximum overdrive. Mohammed, you see where I'm going now? Mohammed, I'm going to get back to your idea from earlier, but just hold on. Oh my God. I didn't even think to I didn't even think to go like that. But now here we are and we went like that. Oh no. What have we done? We just opened up a whole new segment to this thing. Just see something here. This looks like that scene from Interstellar with the black hole. Array them on an empty rotated. I was literally just thinking the same thing. 3D aerodynamics. All right, so this is gonna be so cool. All right, let's do this. I actually empty, that even works better. I was gonna say curve, but that works too. We'll do an empty. All right, so I'll add an empty plane axis. I'm just gonna scale it down so I can see it. I'm gonna delete a lot of these. Hold on, I'll delete this one. All right, let's just take the original one. I just want to see something because now I'm like, hold on a second, like this is about to look. This is gonna look kind of wild. I'm really curious. The only thing is though, keep in mind when we rotate this around the empty, we're going to have to, we might have to put that before the dynamic paint. Well, let's try it. Let's just see if it works. Let me give it a quick save. Generate an array. We'll do that up here. What is it? Constant offset? What the heck's going on here? Oh, there it is. Whoa! Already this looks cool. Hold on. I actually want to see something real quick. If you don't mind, I just want to see. I want to see this first, and then I'll do what you said. I don't know. Don't use modifiers, they said. And then this happens. Instead of a plane, use a circle so you can rotate it and animate the line instead of the object. The line, yeah, I agree. Oh, you're saying you can make a dynamic paint circle? Hold on. Let me try what I was going to try real quick before it's too late. I need object offset, right? Yeah, object offset, right? This is the object. And then I need to... Oh, I forget. What do you do after that? I kind of forget how to do an object offset, guys. Not gonna lie. I totally forget. I might just do the original thing I was going to do, which was constant offset with a curve modifier. Or sorry, relative was it relative offset? What was I going to do? I don't even remember. I think I was going to wrap it around. This looks cool. This is already kind of like a little bit promising. Because if you move this up, and then you just, you know. That's awesome. Hold on. I'm getting way too distracted with my own ideas here. This is cool, though. Apply the scale. Apply the scale. Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. You're right. You're right. Ah! Let's just apply the scale just to these two things. Object, apply, scale. Okay, thank you. All right, now let's try that again, because I knew I was not doing the correct thing, right? And then you select your empty. What? What's happening here? Huh? Or apply location? That's weird. The location is applied, right? Or I'll just do apply all transforms. There we go. Still didn't help. That's really weird. I'm just going to do it the other way. No offense to your method. I'm sure your method would work fine, but I'm going to do a constant offset with a curve modifier. Deform, where's it? Curve, just right here. Yeah, I don't know what, Mohammed, I don't know what that was. That was weird, right? Normally it's not like that. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get it to attach to this curve here. Let's see if I can figure this out. Whoa, that's wild looking. I'm curious what this would look like if I... What? That is wild. That's kind of cool, though. That's not what I was going for, but that's... You see, this is why I love Blender. You just never know. Oh, the plane has unapplied scale. All right, yeah. Okay. Object, apply, scale. You're right. You're correct. You're correct. And then, oh my gosh. What? What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, that's kind of what I was looking for. Not exactly, but close. Negative X, maybe? Okay, we're getting closer. I'm not really sure, like, is it this? Hold on, object, apply, scale. Oh, here we go. I didn't apply the scale to the curve. Got to apply your scale. Smoke rings. It's 1:31 a.m. here, and thanks to you, I'll probably stay awake till morning. Why? Because of this specific topic? I kind of liked our old simulation better, but this is cool. I mean, this is like... I got to see if this would work with Suzanne real quick, because if it would work with Suzanne, this would be great. Also, let's knock down the solidify a little bit. Let's move our curve. I knew that was one of the problems, is the curve. Hold on. Did I apply the transform to this? There we go. That was one of the problems. I did not apply the transforms to this. Hold on. Why? Actually, this looks kind of cool, but this is not like I wanted. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. Thank you. Yes. Yes. That's what I was looking for. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hey, babe. Yeah. How much longer do you think until dinner's done? All right, cool. I'll wrap everything up. I was live streaming for a little bit longer, but I'm almost done. All right. All right. What is for dinner? Oh, really? That sounds good. Okay, thanks. Sorry, guys. Important business information to take care of. All right. Sorry, but look. Look at. Oh my gosh, this looks so cool. Are you guys seeing? Seeing what I'm seeing? This is what we want. Why is it rotating? This is so cool. Where's Suzanne? Suzanne! Not what I wanted, not what I wanted. God, it's funny. This is like natural coffee for me. Like, I didn't have coffee, but mine as well have. Like, okay, how many people we got? Okay, we got 42 people. I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, let's try this. All right, here's what we're going to do. We are going to take our array. This is about to be wild. We're going to use our sphere now just to make things simple. We're going to take our array. We're going to knock this number up to a crazy amount. We're also going to make sure the offset's proper. So we don't, there we go. I don't know why it's curving like this. This is so cool. Oh my God. I knew it was possible. I knew it was. I just wasn't sure. He said aerodynamics for dinner. Oh, I think I know why it's curving that way. Is it because this curve is right here? Would this thing just chill the heck out? Zeroed it out. Is that better? I don't know why this thing's acting up. Okay, so now nothing's getting affected, and I think it's because... Like what? Look at that. Like how cool that is. Let's oh, that's stupid. You know what? Let me just scale this up. There we go. Okay. This is cool. Let me just scale this up. How do I... Oh, wait. I can just make an array of the plane before the array of the plane. Duh. What was I thinking? What was I thinking, guys? I'll just add an array right here so I can extend the lines. Now, if this works, I'll be impressed. So now we can just make the lines however long we want. Did someone say modifiers? Thought I heard someone say modifiers. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's look at the side view. All right, so let me animate this. I just want to animate this so it goes all the way through. Okay, so we can just play this over and over again and kind of talk about it because this reminds me of those Chinese finger traps. You guys know what I'm talking about? The ones you stick on your finger and you can't pull your fingers apart. I'm really thinking like we've been pretty far with this. How long have we been streaming? Is there a time? How long has it been? Live. We've been live for an hour and it's not telling me. I don't know. 83 minutes. Oh, 83 minutes. Oh, that's an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, let's actually wrap this up. We did a lot. Okay, we did a lot in. He said he's holding on his tears because of the camera. 83 minutes. Yeah, we did a lot. I'm like, I never get this far on a live stream, but like I love like, I mean, the only thing I don't understand is why is, oh look, there's a little gap in our array. Why is this spiraling? I mean, it looks cool, but like, why is this spiraling? I'm wondering if it has to do with the array offset. It has a relative offset. And look, we can make this as long as we want. Reminds me of one of those foam nets. Yes, I agree with that actually. All right, let's knock it down to a count of 2. All right, now what I would like to try is I would like to try Suzanne. After that, we're done. You understand me? We're done, guys. All right, I'm just gonna delete the keyframes on this bad boy. Move this guy back. Let's give Suzanne a dynamic paint brush. And scale it down. GX. Press I. Oops, bring that back here. And then frame 100, we're going to go ahead and move that along. And I just want to press play and see what we get. I'm going to hide Suzanne. I just want to see what we get. It's kind of funny looking. It's the curve. You can make same circular effect with the object offset in the array. Now we're getting some really shaky line work here, so let's play with this this factor here. Max displacement. Oh yeah. There it is. So this is what I was looking for. The only difference is we're not catching the ear there. But I like the way this is kind of hugging the top there. Yeah, no, this is looking pretty promising. And then the crazy part is it's just a displacement. The outer sphere. Interesting. The only thing we're not getting, and I think I know why, is the edges of the ear. Why are we not getting, we're like not getting the proper shape. Yeah, like we're getting the top of the head. Wonder why we're not getting the rest though. Is it the, where is the dynamic paint should come right after the curve. Is it the solidify modifier? No. If you rotate the curve by itself, it'll probably change the twisting. That might be true. I do feel like we're kind of getting somewhere here. I just don't know, like, I think, is it, let me just see something here. This is without the, what? Okay, hold on. This is Y. Let's do negative Y. That was kind of cool, but that's not what I'm looking for. See, okay, this might look kind of funny, but like, notice how these lines are interacting. This is more like what I was actually looking for. So let me just dumb down this displacement factor because I want to see something here. Look at the way these lines are going around our object. This is like really what I was looking for here. Let me try something. I want to see how they interact around the ear. Nah, still getting some weird artifacts here. Oh, man. That was negative Z. And then let's try X now. Y. Regular Z. Yo, Suzanne is having the time of their life right now, but let's go back. Where were we originally? Okay, this is what we were originally. This was definitely a good start. Again, like, this will probably take... This is why, like, people don't understand, like, how much time it takes to develop stuff, because you have to, like, experiment so much to get the result you're looking for. So I think a lot of people expect, like, instant results, but, like, what you're seeing right now is exactly what I do when I'm making new products for Blender Market, right? Is I'm trying to experiment and get that really good result, and all those hours of work is, like, why I would charge for something, right? So, like, that's what you're charging for, right? And the experience it took to get there, like, I mean, this is hours of work. Like, if I was going to sell this as a template, that's why I would sell it, because I put so much time and effort into trying to get it to work and even look half decent, right? Someone said geonodes. Yeah, it could be possible geonodes. If you rotate the curve by itself, it'll probably change the twisting. Yeah, smoothing too much? I don't know. Maybe subdivide Suzanne and the lines. Geonodes is the answer here. Looks awesome. Yeah, I'll try to subdivide Suzanne. Let me subdivide. Okay. Actually, that helped a lot. Let me subdivide her again. Maybe that was the issue. It just wasn't smooth enough. So, like, it did help a lot with the ear right here. It's not perfect, but these lines were way different around the ear. Also, let me try to knock down the array count here. Let's do 40. So now we just gotta, like, troubleshoot why are we getting these weird zigzaggedy lines. Yep. Yeah, the video will be online once I'm done, or once we log off here. I'm about to be done. I'm just like, I mean, you're never really done a project, but I'm trying to wrap this up so I can figure out why this is happening in the way that it is. Okay, let me just get rid of this for a second. So I just want to see something. Yeah, it's only on certain parts. Like, every other part looks great. We have plenty of subdivisions. Okay. Let me try something. Wait, what? Try doing it without the curve. It's so glitchy. Try the outer Suzanne as well. Yeah, well, I don't know if the outer Suzanne's going to help, only because that was only to get, like, the effect of the line going around a barrier around the object. So I don't know that that's going to help, but I will try. I'll try without the curve. Is it the constant offset rather than relative offset? It can't be, right? I mean, how much are we getting lines that are, like, let's see what this looks. I'm just curious what this would look like. Shoot. There. Go back. Revert. Okay, we're back to where we were. Okay, let me see. All right, curve, Bezier, curve. Let me take the curve. Did I apply the curve? Oh, hold on. Object, apply, all transforms. I am notorious for not applying the friggin' transforms. Hold on. Try this. I don't know, guys. All right, well, I'll mess around with it. For right now, guys, I do have to go. This is probably one of my longest live streams. 93 minutes. That's an hour and a half and 3 minutes, right? Did I do that math right? I think I did. All right, guys, this has been awesome. I just want to go back to the quick example. I say I'm done, but I am. But this is the original example that I think is going to really change some stuff for, like, what I do next time. And I think we'll mess around with this next time that I'm live, and maybe we'll expand more off of this. If you guys really enjoyed this live stream, definitely drop a comment. Let me know what you think, what you guys want to learn next time. Yeah, I got to go eat dinner. I'm actually starving. Like, all this blending is making me hungry, so I can't ignore that I need to eat. I need to drink water. I'm probably like crazy dehydrated anyway, so. But this is cool. I think this is a good start. Guys, go try this out. I will get this file over to CG Cookie so they can post it on the website, wherever the downloads folder is. But yeah, this has been awesome. I really should be going. Love this stuff. This is so much fun. Go make this. Go have fun with this. Let me know what you create. Let me know if you come up with something better, because I'd like to try it out in the next tutorial. So, someone said bon appetit. Thank you for this cool tip. Yep, absolutely. I really enjoyed this stream. Yeah, this was a fun one. This is probably one of my favorite live streams by far. Just, really experimentative. We got really creative with it, and I think we had a lot of fun overall. So hopefully you guys, got in some good comments here. I hope I answered all of your comments. If I didn't, I apologize. I will come back, and I'll just make sure, they get answered somehow. It is, it's hard to keep up with the comments sometimes. CG Cookie, thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone who attended. We had 1,348 total viewers, which is awesome. So hopefully we can get that up even more next time. Guys, if you haven't already, check out the fundamentals, core fundamentals of Blender for CG Cookie. I'm sure they'll drop a comment down below so you guys can check that out. If you're interested in learning more about this kind of stuff, dynamic paint, physics, absolutely check that out. It is an amazing, amazing course. I've been working specifically on the modeling part of the course, so I've been learning with Jonathan Lampel, who is a fantastic tutorial guy on YouTube, and he's just an incredible member of the CG Cookie community, YouTube community. You guys are going to learn so much. So go check it out. Let me know what you think. Ask me questions about it next time or right now, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. It is just a fantastic course if you haven't checked it out already, and I was more than happy to work on the physics side of those things. So check it out, guys. Let me know what you think. All right. Have a great day, guys. I will talk